morning. What are we doing today?
Another day at the office. Gonna loosen up the forestay so I can get those clevis pins out. And I'm gonna go up the mast and we'll be tying the halyard off to the little shackle up there to reinforce so the mast doesn't fall backwards. And then I'll be going up the main halyard and we'll let it down on the spinnaker halyard. We'll show you.
Alright, time for work. Enjoying a last little bit of coffee from my glass mug from Poland before Connor makes me leave it behind and start using my Yeti. The Yeti just gets so hot, it never cools down. I like to drink things cold and things that are supposed to be cold hot. It's important. Connor says warm beers and cold coffee. Sounds good. Not. Handsome husband back at it again. What are they talking like? Rednecks a lot. At least I am.
Getting the last of our American out of us.
Not too much. Alright, what are we doing right now? Just loosening the forestay?
Otter pins out of here so I can turn this, and we're gonna loosen her up so we get a little bit of wiggle, and I think I'm gonna take out the clevis pin from the top and leave this on, and then we'll just tie it to the halyard first, and then when I get back down, then I can take this out, and then we'll drop the halyard, which will drop the top of the forestay, and then we'll walk this back, hopefully just past those steps over there, and hopefully that'll be long enough to get us all the way down, and then we'll bring the whole rig up front here where we can replace the rigging there. Luckily this one's not as frozen as the others. We had a hell of a time with a couple of the shrouds, but this one is moving, so we're in luck.
Tying the halyard to support the mast, just so it doesn't fall backwards.
Look at that bowline, I did it.
Good job. So I definitely thought this was a stupid question, but when Connor was loosening up the forestay, I was like, is everything else connected in terms of rigging and the other shrouds so the mast doesn't fall? You know, we were concerned about it falling, I guess, backwards, but what about it going sideways? And sometimes it's good to ask stupid questions.
I think it would have been fine, probably.
It would have been fine because this one here is connected, but
these are just our lower shrouds that were disconnected because we were doing the chain plates yesterday.
So we're gonna connect it all.
Might as well.
Safety.
Safety first, kids.
Put your diaper on.
My diaper.
Your diaper. Climbing diaper. Those legs. Cute. I've never seen him in such short shorts. Work it, babe.
It's like the 80s.
It's good on you. 80s looks good on you. The whole hog is back. Going up again. We ready?
We're ready.
Let's do it. Whew. Good that he hadn't eaten breakfast yet. He's a little lighter. Connor's still up there. We had to switch out our halyard for better positioning to get that forestay down, so he trusted me to tie a bowline. I quickly watched YouTube. Don't tell him, just in case. I didn't want to get it wrong, you know? This is important. But look at it. Looks good. So that one's secure. That's holding up the forestay. He took the blue halyard. He's tying it up to the mast end of the forestay. We're gonna slowly bring it down soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, he is down.
Safe and sound.
Safe and sound. Now we're gonna disconnect the forestay on this end, and I'm gonna walk it down the dock over there as he starts to loosen up the blue halyard.
Okay, good? Think so?
I think what you're gonna have to do is bring it up and over, and then slowly we'll lower it down until it can kind of rest for a moment on the ground, and then I'll have to hold it as you go down, or vice versa. Does that make sense? Step by step.
I'm really tall.
That can be secure, just holding it there.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Very slowly loosen. All right, we got it all the way to the end here. Definitely glad to be kind of going through all this stuff. Everything looks fairly old. Could use a little cleanup. And Malvina did an excellent job.
Scary.
I know. Very scary, especially because I didn't really look up a good knot for this. So when you can't tie a knot, tie a lot, I guess. But I did a little kind of slip knot thing around here and then just kind of bundled it all up to try and make sure nothing would come out. Ended up working out, but that was scary just having only this as a loop there. Maybe we should have brought the whole furler top part up, and then I could have attached to that loop and it would have held off of there, but that's still a lot of kind of pressure on that. I don't know.
It's okay, we got it down.
Yeah, it's
I'm
all
sure
down.
Everyone will have lots to say about it, but hey, we got it down.
Good job, good job.
I just heard the biggest holy moly. Why?
I'm so glad that we're redoing this, or at least inspecting this, because look at this. That's not even hand tight.
Oh my gosh.
And we were 2 turns away from losing our head stay.
Oh my gosh. Holy moly is right. Oh my gosh.
So I just cut the end of this off, the stay lock little fitting that was almost disconnected. I just used a Sawzall. Worked great. I don't know why everyone insists on using a hacksaw or a grinder when a Sawzall does the job perfect. Now I'm gonna attach this string just in case the new one gets all stuck in there somewhere. We'll be able to pull instead of just push. From what I've seen on other YouTubes, it is hardly necessary, but always good to have a little additional option there. And now we're gonna start pulling out from the other side.
What are we doing? We have holes in our boat now. Now we don't have a forestay. There's nothing there. What are we gonna do now? What else could we destroy?
Well, supposedly this stuff is kind of frowned upon nowadays too, so we're glad to be taking this all out. We'll pull them out and see if anything kind of happened bad to them, but supposedly putting sealant in there like that kind of keeps the air out, which ends up making the stainless corrode. So I don't see any signs of corrosion yet, so maybe it's all a bunch of hullabaloo. You like that word?
Yeah. What you finding?
A lot of stuff in there, huh? Kinda. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be or if that's kind of a desert fix. Got it swaged on this side. The swaged fitting is going to go on the inside of the furler. That should be good. No need for inspection. I think it's better to have, be able to inspect your stay locks if you're using them, so you don't really want to hide it in your furler because you got to take down the whole forestay furler to inspect anything on it. So I think that's a bad idea. but that's how they had it. Hopefully we're doing it in a better way, not a worse way. I think we'll just come with our swaged fitting to here. There's no real need for this whole system right here. We'll come with our swaged fitting, we'll go right in here. We still need this, and then we'll still need a turnbuckle at the bottom, but I think, yeah, our rigger provided us with that. So we should be solid, I hope.
Do you think our, like, actual forestay wire that he provided is gonna be long enough to skip that link there?
Yeah.
Woohoo. Try not to pick your nose on camera.
Sorry, guys.
It's like he's done this before.
I have not. On my last boat, I redid all the rigging except for the forestay. Sorry. Sorry, next owner.
But we watched lots of YouTubes last night of how to do this.
All wound up, and now we're going to stretch it out along the longer section of the dock there. And we'll stretch out our new one, try and line everything up so we got the same length, and
cross our fingers this all works.
Yeah, cut it up and
stick it in.
Through again. Yeah.
Safety first, always put your cones down so no one trips over that. I feel like we've been here before, but with line instead of wire. Out with the old, in with the new.
So since we're a little bit off with these, I mean, it might actually end up being the same distance. It's a whole different style of turnbuckle that we're switching to. This is an old school style that we can't even find anymore. Part of the reason for replacing all the rigging is because this is a different length than this one. Otherwise, we are glad that we're doing it now that we're digging into it. This is gonna go here, but we have this in between too, right? So it's a little bit complicated, but what I was getting at was usually people put tape here. Luckily, we have enough corrosion to mark the distance for us. So we're gonna use that. I'll tighten this back up so that we can get the proper measurement from pin to pin there, and then we'll figure out the rest of this intermediary stuff from there.
He doesn't need wrenches. Look at that. He's so strong. Forearms. Look at that forearm.
Look at that.
Yeah, forearm pump. Pump it. Just kidding. He's not that strong. There you go, babe.
I already did it.
Oh, he is. Connor's been saying these are so fancy, and it reminds me of when we got all that gold for the through holes. Yeah. From the bottom to the top. We get the shiny bling bling bottom to top.
Blingin'.
The inside don't really matter. As long as we're not sinking through the bottom or the mast falling or our sail falling from the top.
We'll try not to do that.
Yeah, attempt. What you playing with now?
This is Lanacoat, and I've heard it's good to coat all your threads in this, and then it kind of prevents them from seizing up after it gets coated in salt water and rust for however many years, so you can still adjust these guys. So I'm just gonna put a little bit around here, and hopefully we won't have to use a torch to loosen these things when we end up doing it in 10 years.
Look at that ring, you're married.
Oh, yeah, fancy.
And now we sit and think.
I think it's supposed to be a third of the way up, so I need to go further so that we can loosen it still, right? You need that flexibility so that you can loosen it to get the headstay down, or still be able to tighten it to its correct specs before bottoming out on here. So it's a little bit of a tricky situation because this one was almost bottomed out. You can see they got very little, and we did not have a super tight headstay or backstay, and the backstay looks about the similar as this. So we get a little bit of figuring out to do.
Alright, so we're comparing it side by side, and maybe Connor already explained this, but now it's all kind of making sense in my head because he was explaining the problematic features of that stay lock
This is all buried inside of the furler. So to inspect this ever, you would have to take the whole headstay down, you know, take the whole thing out pretty much.
And of course I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, but I didn't realize until now we're laying them side by side that this is taking its place. So there is no stay lock, so we do not have to inspect this. So that is going to be in the furler, so we don't have to worry about what originally was here.
Anything were to ever happen, we'll keep this piece, because it might be what they did here is that maybe this went bad, and then since this is a long piece like that, they were able to extend it and then put the stay lock up here. So we could, if this started to unravel down here, we could chop it here, put the stay lock there, and still be good to go. If we were in a, you know, remote area where we didn't have many other options to get new rigging, we could make our own out of this. So probably before we do a big ocean crossing, we'll take apart the furler, and hopefully, I think this is low enough to where if we take apart the drum of the furler, we should be able to inspect this connection at least to make sure that this swage is still holding and none of these strands are popping out. This guy, Tech Yachting, is where we got this rigging, and they got a great reputation in the area, so I trust them, but always good to inspect too. So we're just confirming that these are the same length, and it looks like pin to pin they are. This one's got a little bit more meat on the top, but pin to pin they are the same length. And we have the old one still here, and so this is as far as the wire actually comes through. So I took this piece off so that now I can measure to right here, and that'll give us where the wire actually is going to go through this fitting all the way into it. So I think that's a good idea. We'll cut it right here. I'll just mark it with some tape, and we'll get the sawzall out, and there goes nothing.
Got here.
So if you can see here, there's just a little bit of burrs here. We just want to make sure that that's all kind of as clean as possible. It is way cleaner than on my last ones. I used a grinder cutoff wheel to get this, and I did have to kind of clean up all the edges because the stainless melted a little bit. With the Sawzall, it came out very clean except for just that last little bit. So I'm just gonna clean off those little burrs.
I might have to borrow that tool for you, because for the wedding I got gel nails and I can't get that nail polish off. So Dremel for the win.
For the win, every day.
And that's why I let him keep the tools. Multi-purpose. Even ladies like them. Approved, Milwaukee.
So now we put this little former on there like that, I believe.
There's pictures, so we're looking at
We're
pictures.
in luck that way, and then we'll just kind of fold all these back like that. Try and keep that in place. You just want to push it off. Alright, so we got it all arranged. Want to make sure that it's all kind of swooping around in its same order, nothing's overlapping. And then also, if you can come around here, there is this little gap right here has to be able to close so that it can cinch around these wires. So we have to kind of make sure that that's not gonna be, it's a little bit of a funky setup because it makes them have to be a little bit uneven in their spreading, but I think once we cinch it all down, it's just gonna kind of whatever, it'll equalize itself. You can't really see right there, but they do end up pretty tight on each other, so once it's cinched, it should be fine. We'll thread her on there now. Everything looking good. And that former was already in the bottom of this too. It's a little cone, kind of the opposite side. Let's see if we can see it in the other one. So there's a little cone inside of here too that kind of makes everything compress around itself like this. So that'll fit into that cone, and that's what makes everything go like that. When you replace these, you have to replace that little former that I just put on the inside of there, and then this also, I guess. So we got a couple backups so that we can reuse this and another one or two if need be. But this should be good. What did I just forget?
We're so good at connecting it all, but doesn't it need to go inside something?
Luckily, I couldn't find the right wrench, and on my way back out this time with the crescent wrench there, because this is metric, I don't have a metric set of open-ended. Yeah, I realized that we need to thread this through the furler before we put the stay lock on there. So, good thing I can't find things. And luckily I hadn't cinched it down at all, because if I had, I'm pretty sure it would not go back together smooth like that. But yeah, it's all good. All good, baby.
Time to thread. Ricka redo. We curled it back up. And Connor's gonna slowly weave it back in through.
Albina is pulling the string to guide it in. Well, that didn't work very well, folks. We got about a foot in. Good.
So I thought we were at the easy part. All we have to do is just thread the wire back through. Just simple, right? No, I don't know why projects always are not very simple for us. Instead, we just kept getting caught up like in the middle of the forestay. So,
not even the middle, like right here.
Yeah, not even the middle. It was like the first foot.
Pretty disheartening.
So Connor is now taking the furler. He just disconnected the furler from that part of the headstay or the forestay. And we're gonna try it again. Hopefully it'll be easier this time, right?
This is gonna work.
Come on, Poseidon, be on our side.
Positive,
okay. Positive vibes.
Alright, so fishing this thing has been kind of ridiculously difficult, but what we're gonna try and do now is I took one of these baby blue wire nuts and kind of knocked out the center of it, split it in half, got the string down it, so then the string's going to come out the very tip of the wire nut, and that wire nut is exactly the same diameter as the wire that needs to go. So then I'll put that at the top and tape that all together, and hopefully that tapered kind of point to it will guide it past any rough edges that it'll run into in there. We've been stuck here, and I think this is the furthest we've gotten so far, but we still got a long ways to go. So hopefully this will work and we'll be smooth sailing. Can't really believe how difficult this has been. I thought this was going to be the easy part.
All right, it took a wee bit of what we now like to call McGuiring here, aka MacGyvering. Mr. McGuire though figured it out. We have threaded it through. We are reassembling everything back together. Hunter just got a snack so his mouth is full.
Trying to not talk with my mouth full. Yeah, so that was just a little pin that goes through there to hold the bottom in and keep that all steady.
Well, this project is a gift that keeps on giving. So we got really excited, and take a look at this. We have threaded it through, but the tape is still in there. So there's no way we're gonna get that tape off unless we pull it back through and retie it for like the 5th time. Got ourselves a little snack and our brains are working.
Hopefully. To be determined. So they say put
Well,
some
first we
tension.
got it through. We got the
We
tape
got
off.
it through. We had to remove the fitting I just put on down below and pull it up. And yeah, luckily I kind of need that wiggle room anyways for this, so that was a good move, I think. Now it's a really tough thing to keep that from falling in there. And then we're gonna put some blue Loctite on there so it doesn't slip off like the last one almost did.
What'd you say, Connor?
I could probably get a bigger wrench. What do you think, guys? Fisher Price. This wrench is one of my favorites though, because it's a kind of vice grip wrench that actually vice grip crescent. So you can adjust it, but then also once you adjust it, it'll cinch down super tight and keep from kind of moving like a lot of crescents do. Yeah. I think I'm gonna need my bigger wrench, guys. Well, I think that looks pretty good. It's all kind of evenly spaced here. We're not blocking the little closure part with any wires. I'd call that about 1/8 of an inch. That might be a little bit more, but I think it's fine. The former will end up pushing it in and cinching it all together. And these wires are at the end of this, which I think is the most important thing. That these kind of cinch around there. If it's too little, then it will kind of just be halfway down that angle, and then you won't get all that extra stopping force there.
So you just did kind of a dry fitting, and
just
now...
a dry fit. Might throw a tiny bit more Loctite on there for lubrication and safety. And we'll cinch her down. Cinch her down and hoist her up.
Oyster?
Hoist her. She's hungry.
Oyster. What happened?
I tooted.
Besides you tooting and blaming it on the ducks.
Well, it's back up.
Yeah.
And,
Partially.
yeah, partially back up. The bottom is connected. Look how shiny that is. So good. That's what we're all about here. Fashion.
That's the first time I've ever heard him say that. Brand new. Now the anchor doesn't look as new.
Uh-oh, we're gonna need a new anchor.
No.
Get the spray paint out?
Alright, let's connect it back to the top of the mast. So let me get you up there to your favorite spot. Ladies and gentlemen, he is going back up.
Let's take it.
Get him out of here. Get on it. Right, my lord. We've been watching too much Outlander.
Don't admit that to people.
Why?
It's a weird show. Don't watch it.
It's great. Watch it. That's about 2/3 of the way. I'll take it. Hey, Connor's back with us. All in one piece. Back from heaven. And now we're just going to tighten the forestay. And then we're going to have ourselves a nice bevy after a long day.
Well deserved this time.
Yeah. Good job. Back to working on the sail, although check it out. Connor got some diesel tanks, so we are plentiful of diesel. But back to sails is my mom and I were doing some preventative work to try to make the sail unbreakable. And while we were doing that, what did we do? We ripped it. So thank goodness here in Venice, we have UK sales. Head sail to UK sales, they just gave it back to us. Just a few $100s to repair. Not the biggest deal. We were just very excited we didn't have to buy a whole new sail. And so we're gonna hoist it up today. We got the forestay in yesterday. New rigging, looking good. Let's get her up now.
So we tried the butterfly hitch for a while, continuous jib sheet, and thought that might be cool. Turned out to not be that cool. We ended up kind of blowing apart the innards of the sheet there, so we ended up cutting it, and we're just gonna do 2 bowlines on there, and we'll be all right. How do you think about that, baby? Alright, this is a little bit more complicated than we took it for. It's a little windier.
Like most things.
This earlier. You know. Uh-oh.
What?
Come back down.
If you ever need to replace your forestay or your headstay, we really hope this video helps you. Now we are off to finish chain plates and the rest of the standing rigging and a few other hiccups that pop along the way. Do you think we will make our October 1st departure? Stay tuned to find out.
I guess.